Pompey Sound, your hourly update from Fratton Park, sponsored by Piglet's Pantry, the home of award-winning and handmade food on the South Coast.
Portsmouth loanee Rob Atkinson has admitted he has absolutely no clue where he will be next season. Portsmouth landed the defender on loan from fellow Championship side Bristol City in the January transfer window. He scored 2 goals for Pompey over the weekend in their 2-2 draw with Derby County. Dickinson, 26, is due to return to Ashton Gate this summer. He has made 10 appearances since his switch to Fratton Park. Regarding his future, he's told the News, "I have absolutely no clue what the future holds, honestly. Anything can happen, I can be anywhere. I owe this club a lot and this club owes me absolutely nothing. It has been an absolute pleasure to be here. When I joined, I really wanted to make an impact and get this team up the league. Obviously the injury hasn't helped that goal. But, now I'm back. I'm hoping to stay fit for the rest of the season and really cement Portsmouth Football Club's position in the Championship so they can go again." He added, "I truly believe that next season, with the right recruitment, you've got the nucleus here to really kick on. Who knows what can happen, it's a special club. I'm excited to see how it goes." Portsmouth brought in Atkinson this past winter to boost their defensive ranks. He has since settled into life in Hampshire well. The centre-back is under contract at Bristol City until June 2026. Therefore, they have a decision to make regarding what to do with him next. The promotion-chasing Robins risk losing him for nothing next year if they don't sell him in the next window, or next January. Atkinson joined his parent club back in 2021, and he has since played 66 matches, finding the net on 6 occasions from the back.
There'll be plenty of fans who will assume that Rob Atkinson is still riding the crest of a wave after his extraordinary exploits on Saturday and is feeling quite emotional and quite attached to Portsmouth, the Portsmouth area, Hampshire, the football club, the fans, the experience. He wants to recreate that experience. He wants that to happen to him every Saturday. And so he is saying, and they're hearing it in Bristol, he is saying that, I think he may be saying that, can't second guess footballers, he might be saying to Bristol and to Pompey that he wants to play football next season. And if he's going to be 3rd or 4th in the pecking order at Bristol, then he won't be happy. And he won't get match fit. He won't stay match fit. And so he won't be that much use to Bristol. So, OK, they bought him, didn't they, for over £1 million. I wonder what the selling price would be. He's 28, plenty of miles left on his clock. I wonder what the asking fee would be if Pompey were to make that inquiry. And would we want them to make that inquiry after Saturday? Definitely. But by the end of the season, we'll have perhaps got a full perspective on him. But we like him, don't we? And he likes us.
One of the most popular pub games played at this time of the year by supporters of clubs across England, apart from those at the very top, is which of our loan players, if any, do we want to keep? At Pompey, it's a game that can last until, or after, last orders. Just as Saturday's hero Rob Atkinson appears to throw his hat in the ring as a player who would give serious consideration to a permanent move down south, where he has apparently taken a great liking to Hampshire, so Freddie Potts appears to be open to the idea of a second season at Fratton Park. If it came to a vote by Pompey fans between those two, it would probably go close. Subject to much greater uncertainty is the future of Brighton's Mark O'Mahony and Sunderland's Ideal Auchish. Neither of them have managed to have the same impact as Atkinson and Potts, although their pedigree is plain to see. Isaac Hayden has far from disgraced himself playing an enforcer role in front of the back four and offering cover at centre-half if needed. It's probably only Cade Gordon that has had such little opportunity to show what he can do, who is likely to be on his way the Monday after Pompey's last match against Hull.
Yeah, is it fair to say that the players that we have borrowed under John Messino have performed a little better than the players that were borrowed under the Cowleys? And that is no reflection on the calibre or capability of the Cowleys. These things you just don't know. It's like when you buy a dog, you buy a pup, you're not quite sure exactly what sort of a pup you've got until you've had it at home for a while. And similar, I think, with loan players. You can look at their pedigree, you can look at their YouTube videos, you can research them until you're blue in the mouth. But it's not until you actually have them under you, on your training ground, playing pre-season friendlies and turning out, of course, in the odd first team match so that you can get a feel of them and they can get a feel for you, that you really know what you've got. And so perhaps it was just the luck of the draw that one or two players borrowed by the Cowleys didn't quite work out. One or two did. But since John Messino has been here, there have been one or two who haven't quite come up to the standard that we hoped. But this season in particular, I think it's fair to say, we have got ourselves a really good six-a-side team. Well, obviously we haven't got anybody in goal, but we've got ourselves 6 really good lone players. Atkinson has become a folk hero at Pompey. If you'd asked people to have a whip round to put a statue to him just along the way from Jimmy Dick, they'd have raised a few bob. That's the effect that he had on Saturday. And of course, Freddie Potts. We know that we have got a future star on our books this season, and there's this possibility that he might be available for us to borrow for another season. And he is just a class act. Never takes more than 2 touches unless he really has to, which is the behaviour of a really accomplished midfield player. And he wins his tackles and he comes away with the ball as well on his feet. So he's good. He's special. Him and Atkinson, we'd like them both back. I think it's fair to say. Mark O'Mahony hasn't really had a chance to prove himself enormously. We can tell that he knows what he's doing. He knows where the goal is. And Auchich looks like a class act, but there's a way to go with him, particularly when he is hunting down, when he's tackling back, when he's covering. It doesn't come naturally to him. Why should it come naturally to him? He's obviously a ball player. He's an inventive player. He's an intuitive player. And he's going to reach a level of ability where he's able to break down the kind of defences that we face at Pompey and will face, hopefully, next season in the Championship. Perhaps he's not yet ready to face down the defences that he might find himself up against in the Premier League. But then again, Sunderland might have at least another season in the Championship, so he'll be spared that difficulty or indignity. Do we want him back? I think if we took a vote amongst Pompey fans, we'd say he's obviously special, but he can't deliver quite what we want at the moment. And the same goes for Mark O'Mahony. I suspect he's on his way back to Brighton, wouldn't you say? Of the remaining 2, Isaac Hayden has done nothing but good, solid stuff. He's a good, solid player. You wouldn't argue with him, and we need players on the pitch at every level that the opposition wouldn't argue with. So he has credentials. He's a good footballer, of course, but also he makes his presence known. It's Cade Gordon that you've got to feel for, really, and feel for us, because I think we'd like to have seen a little bit more of him. He's obviously somebody of great skill, incisive on the ball, capable of taking men on, beating men for skill and for speed, and then doing something with it. But he just hasn't had the opportunity. Not that he hasn't had the chance, he hasn't had the opportunity. He hasn't had the game time, really. So we still don't know quite what we've got. And on that basis and that basis alone, we may have to let him go back to Liverpool. Well, we won't have any choice in the matter. I suspect Liverpool will say, look, you haven't really brought him on in the way that we hoped you might, and you mentioned that you might. So let's call it quits. We'll have him back and we'll work on him ourselves. And you know what our phone number is if there's anybody else you'd like to try out. Because, bottom line on all this one, Pompey are acquiring a justified, good reputation for dealing with other people's youngsters, with dealing with lone players.
John Messino has confirmed the former Sweden international Alex MILOSOVIC has torn his calf muscle after scan results showed the extent of the injury picked up in training. Messino is saying, Alex is okay. The scan shows a calf tear, but he feels good, so we're going to treat the player and not the scan. I don't know what the extent of that's going to be. We're just going to have to take it day by day. We're not ruling anything out or in. We're not sure about it yet. I thought that his season was over having got the scan results back, but speaking to Alex, he feels a lot more positive about it. Messino added, it's actually a really strange injury. By the time he got onto the bus at Millwall, he could barely walk. But a couple of days later it settled down, so it's one of those that's a bit of a strange one. I think he wants to be involved. He's obviously disappointed picking up the injury, having not played a minute for Portsmouth. He wants to get himself back in. But Milosovic has instead found himself added to the fitness issues suffered by Ibain Boat, Hayden Matthews, Rob Atkinson, Regan Paul, and Connor Shaughnessy in the middle of the backline this term.
Alex Milosovic is a strange one, isn't it? He's a very accomplished footballer. He was capped by Sweden 8 times in proper full internationals, not just knockabout friendlies. He's a proper footballer. He spent good time at Nottingham Forest. He's a proper footballer. He's only 33, which these days, if you keep yourself fit, and the Pompey backroom people were satisfied that he was sufficiently fit to travel with the team and be on the bench, wasn't it, against Millwall? And then somewhere between the dressing room and the coach on the way back, he started to feel a pain, and by the time they got to the other end, he could scarcely walk. This is strange. And very unfortunate for him, and very unfortunate for us, if between now and the end of the season we need a proven centre-back, a specialist centre-back. John Messino obviously has his fingers crossed still, but no more than that. He expected after the scan for him to be told that his Milosovic's season was over. It looks as though he might be available for some of the remaining games, but whether we'll actually see him in a Pompey shirt on the pitch is possibly a moot point. And if he goes, then we'll wish him well, and thanks for an unusual set of memories. Dear boy.